Welcome back to round 2 of the LEC Summer Playoffs here. I have Dan with me joining me to talk about the game. Thank you, Dan, for coming.
Hello, how's it going?
Going super well. Thank you for joining us. Did you enjoy the series so far?
Yeah, it went a little bit different than I would have expected. I thought that with Mad Lions being a little bit shaky lately, I think Schalke would take it, but it seems quite competitive. So yeah, it's good to see that it's still
series.
really competitive at the moment. Yeah, exactly.
It's a competitive series, and that's all we want in the end. And I mean, I was talking to Mac before this series, and he was telling me that Schalke versus SK last week, we didn't get to see anything from Schalke. So here against Mad Lions, which weaknesses were exposed from Schalke, do you think?
I think maybe it plays a little bit on their mental, because Schalke hasn't lost a game in a really, really long time. So them losing a game might have been like, oh, we can actually lose. So maybe that's a little bit of a factor. I also think that whereas Schalke has had really solid drafts, I think Mad Lions' draft was pretty nice. I think also the level 1 from Schalke this game was obviously not that great, because they lost both sums on their AD carry. That means that they had full bot lane control. Leona could move to Herald. They got they got the first 2 Drakes because of that. Then they got the 3rd one, and then they could just bait them into any fight. So it was more of like the early game, which went really bad for Schalke, I think, which was their biggest weakness. But yeah.
All right. Well, we just saw the draft with the pick orders right now. I would like to see it again for 1 sec, because there's been a shift, I feel, in the picks that we've seen. I mean, last week we saw a lot of Lilia very early in the draft. So far, we didn't see the champ. It's actually the first time that we see her, and she was picked in first rotation from Mad Lions here. So why was Lilia a good champ, especially in this situation and on second draft rotation?
I'm not entirely sure. A lot of people think that Lilia is really strong. Other people think that Lilia is not that strong. I believe that because this is more a series that's supposed to be... I mean, it's like a playoff series. No one's going to pick anything crazy. So you might know that there's going to be 2 tanky champs at the very least. And I think with Lilia, you really need that, because she does like percentage-based damage. So if you know more or less what the enemy's going to pick, and you're going to pick something a little bit front to back, I think Lilia is always good. So maybe they had that in mind, or maybe they just think Lilia is just really, really OP. And I think Shadow just is one of those junglers that really likes to innovate. So I think it's more like a stylistic thing.
Well, when I look at Mad Lions' draft here, I feel like they had more options, whether it's global play on one side lane with GP. But when I look at the Schalke composition, one thing that strikes me is the damage. To you, outside of Aberdagger, who was supposed to deal damage? Like, what was the idea with Schalke composition here?
I think front to back is just exactly what you want. But that's the problem, right? You can only do one thing, and that's fighting front to back with the Senna heals, because you actually have more sustain in like a long fight, so it should actually be good. But seeing as you lose 2 Drakes, and then you lose the 3rd one on top of that, that means that you're always gonna get baited into like choke points to fight for a Drake, and you're always gonna get baited into some bad fights, because Mad Lions actually has all the map control. So then it becomes really difficult to fight front to back, because you're always you're not gonna be the one that decides where to fight. So then it's kind of hard. Then it looks like you lack damage, even though the draft on paper is actually pretty fine, in my opinion.
You summed it up really well. I mean, the early game here for Schalke was a really bad point for them, and I feel like Gilius needed to be the link that will take the team from the early game to a stable mid game, which didn't happen here, which makes me want to talk about Shadow, because I feel like throughout the series, Mad Lions has been performing well when he was performing well, and I feel like here with Lilia, he did exactly what we wanted him to do. What do you think, Dan?
Yeah, I think the first game you could really see that he played not his greatest game, I would say. I think it really showed when he's not the one that makes these early plays, when he doesn't really, when he's not the one that really leads the game, then you can really see that Mad Lions is like struggling a little bit. But usually when this guy shows up, and he usually does show up, like on his Lee Sin is obviously like the cleanest on the server, and now you can see with his Lilia, and you know, like this guy's just crazy good. So whenever this guy does well, the entire team just does well, and you can really see it. Like, and those stats are really insane as well. So yeah,
yeah, I agree.
I can't say anything bad.
And I don't think, I mean, he did an amazing job, but I don't think he did it himself, right? I mean, he had Kaiser with him, going with him in the jungle, making all these plays around the map. So is there anything special we can take from the way Mad Lions play as a team on the map here against Schalke?
I mean, I would just say that everyone's just on the same page.
Yeah.
Like, they're just the typical friendship team, you know? Like, even though they're like rookies, I feel like a lot of the calls that they make maybe are not correct, but you see that they're all just on the same page. Like, if one guy's flashing in, I see 5 people flashing in, and that's like a really nice thing to see, that they're just all like on the same page. Everyone trusts each other, and I think that that's really what brings this team together.
It does. And I mean, this is the Mad Lions we've been waiting to see since the beginning of playoffs. And I mean, here they're on to match point. I know that Schalke will be playing blue side in game 4. Any expectations in this game 4 from the side of Schalke, then Mad Lions, to take the series?
I think Schalke can bring it back. I think Schalke have come so far, and my prediction was that Schalke wins 3-2, but I think Mad Lions is just on paper just the better team. I think Schalke just came in with a lot of momentum. Now is the time to see whether Schalke can actually ride that momentum to the end or not. If I were to say on paper, yeah, Mad Lions will win, but I've spoken to Dreams when they were 1-8, and I was just joking around a bit, and he just looked me dead serious in the eye, and he says, "We're gonna win." And that's, I think, that winner's attitude that I really saw when they were like 1-8, like getting stomped by everyone, to just coming all the way back. It would be sad to see them go all this way without winning, in my opinion.
I agree. We will see who wants it more. In the end, it will come down to this. But Dadan, thank you very much for the interview, and have a pleasant off-season. We will see you next year. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll take a short break, and we'll come back in a few minutes for Game 4 of this exciting series. See you soon, guys.